What number are we up to? 5. Okay. American Virgin by Steven Seagle, Becky Cloonan, and Jim Rugg. By the way, I'm sure I'm butchering some people's names, and it will just keep happening. I grew up in this kind of conservative, religious, evangelical culture, so I found this book about a guy who is a son of a televangelist to be really interesting. The first book sets up that he is the son of the televangelist, that he has made his life's work preaching abstinence, that his family is totally dysfunctional, and that he cannot wait for his girlfriend to get back from the Peace Corps in Africa because he really, really, really needs to consummate the marriage immediately. And then on the last page of the first book, she's killed in Africa by a terrorist gang. So, the rest of the series is about our boy Adam going absolutely insane and trying to travel the world and sort of figure out where he fits in the scheme of things, while he is being haunted by something that may be his own imagination and maybe his girlfriend Cassie's ghost. It was a really cool series until the 4th book, where it seemed sort of like someone from Vertigo went, "Hey guys, your title canceled in 3 books, so wrap it up." It ends on that same kind of confusing, wait, what? That Neon Genesis Evangelion did? And I was actually angry with the creators at the end, because I was so into the book, and then it was just like, what the fuck? Animal Man by Grant Morrison and a bunch of other people whose names I can't pronounce. So, diehard comic book fans right now are going, Isobel, everyone's heard of Animal Man. Well, some people haven't, okay? Plus, he's like my favorite self-aware comic, so deal. Animal Man understands that he's got shitty powers and he's totally a 2nd, 3rd, maybe 4th stringer. Like Booster Gold, however, he is going to capitalize on what he has and provide for his family. And he sort of ends up being the most important character in the universe, but not really on purpose. At times, it's a little heavy-handed on the animal rights angle, but it's got the white god of Kilimanjaro in it, and like every single other character in the DC universe touches on Animal Man's life, and it's totally 80s fab. We Three by Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely. So, a dog, a cat, and a bunny are experimented on in a lab to make them into super soldiers. But they're still animals. They don't understand what's happening to them, and they don't understand what they've become. They're just trying to be animals, and they escape. Of course, the evil animal experimenters have to send more effed up animals after them to capture and return them. But it's kind of like Homeward Bound, but the animals are, unbeknownst to them, super tanks. Oh my god, I read somewhere that they're making this into a movie. I would not go see it if I were you. I could barely make it through the comic. Jesus, it's sad. The Loners by C.B. Cebluski and Carl Moline. Like I said, I was going to butcher some names. If you've read The Runaways, you've run up against the Loners. I just love the concept of this book. Former teenage heroes admit the whole super thing has fucked up their lives, and form a 12-step group to stop superheroing. But being super is kind of like the mafia. Only death gets you out. And in supers, you're never really dead, are you? It's really fun. You see that superheroes are people. They're fucked up, super-powered tanks of people, but they're still teenagers. And they have all the personalities and problems and normal people stuff that go along with that. Safe Area Gorazde by Joe Sacco. So, earlier when I said that comics could be literature, they can also be journalism. Joe Sacco is a journalist who traveled to Bosnia and lived with the Bosnian people during the genocide. He shares their stories through this comic. Normally, I'm not interested in this kind of stuff, but I couldn't put it down. Nextwave, Agents of Hate, H-A-T-E, by Warren Ellis and Stuart Immonen. So, what happens to all those crap heroes that have one book written about them and then disappear? Well, if they're Charlton Comics characters, they kinda sorta become the Watchmen. Otherwise, they become Nextwave. Monica used to run the Avengers, you know. This is an absurdist comic, much like The Invisibles. It's crazy, it's freaky, it's silly, and you respond viscerally to the gross stuff. But you really like it after a while. I bought this book because it has Aaron Stack, my favorite robot man, in it. So I was really mad at it for a while, but the more I read it, the more I really loved it. My robot brain needs beer! Anyway, I hope you enjoyed 10 comics that you probably haven't heard of, and I hope that you actually haven't heard of some of them, and I hope that my reviews have inspired you to pick them up and read them yourself.